All right, well, the project today is to start this snowmobile. And I had planned to do this in the summer when it would be a proper warm start, you know, just because people do the cold starts, but I was going to do a warm start on the snowmobile in the summertime and didn't get to it. I haven't gotten around to starting this thing for a few years, and so that's why it's just derelict here in the middle of the yard. It was holding the end of that hedge. You know, it was sitting in there all last year. You probably saw it in some videos. And then I dragged it out here because we were cutting a bunch of wood. Never did start it, so it hasn't run in a few years, but it does run well. It looks horrible because it got backed into. It actually wasn't damaged. Well, it's a long story, but got backed into by a truck. That's why the hood is like it is. The seat, you ate the seat, didn't you? Huh? New dog. Seat gone. But this is a ZR600 Arctic Cat 01, I believe, 2001. So that's pretty new. Like, it's actually very new still. And yeah. Oh, not only did we eat the seat, we took the cover off the handlebars and we're defoaming here. Look at that. Did he eat any wires? I hope he didn't eat the wires. That's going to be a problem. We'll find out. So I will. Let's open this. I know the first order of business when you want to start a snowmobile that hasn't run for a while, even probably hasn't run over yeah, there's no cable holding this, so we just, good, thank you. You gotta always pull carburetors, because if the thing sits any length of time at all, the idle jets are plugged and it will not start. Or it won't stay running if it does start, or it'll run on one cylinder, or so doesn't even pay to try. First order of business, pull carburetors. So I will do that, grab some tools, and we will see you in the shop. Did you eat the seat? The whole seat? Hey? Goodness sakes. Here we have a pair of carburetors, and these particular flat slide style carbs are joined together, and I never bother taking them apart from each other. Kind of comes out as a unit like this, and as you can see, they are filthy from sitting, which is fine. I'm going to take these caps off, and then I'll show you where the jets are that we're concerned with and what we need to clean to make these things run. So these bowls are held on by a little screw, but also the main plug on the bottom. 17 millimeter. It's not a bad idea to do these one side at a time. So you don't mix and match parts, although there really aren't that many parts involved. 17 mil there for that. So this is a bit of a drain plug, but it's an access port actually to the main jet. So if there was room with the carbs on the machine, you could change the main jet without pulling the carbs. But in my case, there's no way to get to this. As you can see, she's kind of grown full, but not plugged. Actually, I've seen them worse. And so inside there is the main jet. But the main jet is not what is going to be plugged. It's always the idle jet, which we need to pull this cap off to access. And you can see it's dirty in there, but it's not brutal. It's not brutal, actually. This thing might have gone. Okay. So yeah, basically This is the main jet here. This is the one you're going to change out for mixture at varying altitudes and temperatures. I've never changed it, but I will pull it out and clean it as well. The floats, the needle and seat, that's all self-explanatory. Your idle jet is down inside here. And so you'll take a flat blade screwdriver and go down inside there. In my case, I know from the last couple of times I've had these apart, mine are frozen in there, and the slot where the screwdriver goes is broken out. So I can't actually get them out of there without drilling them out. And so all I do now to clean them is brake clean, air from both ways, clean and air from here on for me, and clean it all up. I'm going to take the other side off, and then I'll just do it all at once. One nice thing about snowmobile and motorcycle carburetors is that they almost all use some kind of an O-ring or a reusable gasket on all the various parts. So you can usually pull them right apart without replacing gaskets or needing any gaskets. So yeah, this one's the same. This isn't awful, actually. This might have been the one time when I could have started this without doing this, but it usually bites me if I don't, so past experience has taught me to just clean it before I even try. All right, I'll find my brake clean and my air hose. Brake clean. All right, so off camera, I sprayed everything down with brake clean, and then compressed air just blew all the circuits back and forth, and the choke circuits as well. The chokes are still on the machine because I usually just take them out and leave them with the throttle cable. That's just way easier than unhooking them. And so I'll clean those up as I put them back in. But the exterior of the carbs is horribly filthy. I've just wiped down any obvious loose crap, and the rest is just dandy fine for now. If I was getting this ready to go for a season of riding, you know, I would be a little more particular about everything. The other thing I was going to mention, I'm guessing that all of these O-rings probably don't love the brake clean. As a general rule, brake clean and rubber don't get along. Having said that, I've done this several times to these exact carburetors. Still on my the O-rings that came with them. So for whatever that's worth, might be good to lube up that rubber. I don't know. I think my last step when I put these on the machine, I like to fill the float bowls through the vent here with pre-mixed gas. Like I'll just take from my chainsaw jug and I'll just throw 50 to 1 in here, and that gives me, well, two things. First off, you don't pull like a dummy for half an hour pumping fuel into the carbs from the tank, but you also, that initial shock, you've got oil immediately to the engine. If it's been sitting a while, you know, I don't know how long it takes for the injection pump to start mixing oil. It might be immediate for all I know, but this just gives me the peace of mind to know that I'm oiling those bearings immediately the moment it starts. And by the time it's burnt out these float bowls, everything's up and running as it should be. So anyways, yeah, those little screws just basically set the thing in place. The main clamping force that holds it down is these. So, but they must be here somewhere. As you can, I mean, my shop is just immaculate, and I can generally find things pretty quickly. So. Anyway, these are basically ready to put back on the machine, and we'll commence. I did the delay in the procedure here was I needed to get some fuel tubing. This small stuff is just for the vents, and then this is the main feed line from the pump to the carbs. probably from the tank to the pump as well. I'll probably the stuff that was on there, it just gets brittle and dries and really quickly, so that's something that you replace quite frequently. But anyway, yeah, I think we're almost ready to head back to the machine. It's been so cold and so windy and so not spring here. It's hard to get a good snowmobile warm start when it's just still winter. But anyway, we'll endeavor to persevere. All right, just before I put this air box back in place, I wanted to just show you where these carbs are hiding. So I've got them back in. I got my new fuel tubing run, and you know, just give you a sense of how pristine this whole engine compartment is. Like, this thing's brand new practically. This air box, we're dealing with a slight bit of, what was that? Oh, spare plugs. Yeah, you always want to carry a good assortment of old fouled plugs with you, you know, because spare plugs, right? So not new, obviously, but just old crappy ones. Anywho, I'll put this air box back just for the sake of holding all the other stuff it holds, and we're just about ready to give her a pull. Here we are, the moment of truth, the moment we've all been waiting for, with bated breath and whatnot. We're ready to go. I'm going to say 2 pulls. With it primed like it is, we'll see what it does. If the dog hasn't eaten the wiring. Doesn't look like it. Pry this thing out of the ice and let it run a bit. Let's see. Well, there you have it. There's the warm start. Look at that. Well, as you can notice, as soon as I let it down to idle, we're down to one cylinder. So there's definitely crap all over still in the fuel system and whatnot, but it runs. These skis are frozen right down. So, won't drive it just right now. There you go, guys. The derelict machine has arisen. Have a good Sunday.